Today's lesson topic is backswing, and I'm going to show you 5 backswing tips in under 5 minutes. So welcome back to the Forest of Arden, where we're talking about backswing, and I'm going to share with you 5 of the best backswing tips in under 5 minutes. Now, little disclaimer, the video probably won't be under 5 minutes, but the actual part of it where we're going to go through the tips should be, hopefully. So before we get started, if you're new to my channel, if you just stumbled across me for the first time, I'd love you to be part of the community. It is absolutely free to subscribe, and you can do that by clicking the link in the description box down below, and also give the little bell icon a click as well. That just means you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. So the lesson plan today is quite simply just to give you 5 very simple and very quick tips that can help you make a better backswing. Now, we still have to make a downswing, we still have to hit the ball, and there's still quite a lot that can go wrong from the top of the golf swing, but we're giving ourselves a greater chance if we can move from our starting position through to our backswing position in a more functional way, and that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. So let's get started with that first tip for your backswing. Now, the first 2 tips are quite closely related. Well, actually the first 3 tips. And the first tip is really to do with your trail leg and how it moves from setup to backswing. So if I take and address this golf ball, I would like you to start with some amount of bend or some amount of flex in that leg. But the first tip is to allow that knee or that leg to lose some of that flex and move towards a straighter position as you go up to the top of your golf swing. You'll notice that this knee has started to reduce in its flex, and the lead knee has started to increase in its flex. What I really don't want you to do is have the idea that you're going to lock that knee in place, because when you lock that knee in place, you limit mobility, and you end up generally moving towards more of a lateral, more of a swaying motion. So the first tip is actually really more of a concept, and it's just to allow the trail leg to lose some of its flex as you move towards the top of your backswing. Tip number 2, as we kind of said there, follows on from tip number 1, and it's really trying to get you to make a full rotation going back. I still see so many golfers who don't rotate as much as I would like them to do in the backswing. So how much would we like you to turn? Well, give or take, we'd like you to create around about 90 degrees of rotation through your shoulders. If I take this club and place it across my shoulders, 90 degrees would be really getting the golf grip, in this case, around about middle of my heels or above the ball. Now, for each of you out there, that's going to require a different amount of rotation through the lower body. If I'm an extremely flexible golfer, I might be able to achieve that 90 degrees turn without really moving my legs too much. For most of us, that less flexible category, we need to allow our knees and our hips to move and rotate quite a bit in order for us to achieve this 90-degree turn. So this would be a great little exercise for you to do. Just rehearse getting that grip in between your heels, and you'll notice just how much rotation I've got through my hips, and also how that trail leg is starting to lose flex, as we mentioned in that first point. Tip number 3, yet again, follows on from tip number 1 and tip number 2. We set ourselves to the golf ball with our body tilted over by a certain amount. That angle that we tilt over needs to be reflected in your backswing. What that means is when I make a rotation, I'm going to have a significant amount of tilt through my shoulders, a significant amount of tilt through my hips, and also through my knees. All too often I will see a golfer where they're trying to rotate far too level. You can see my shoulders, my hips and my knees are nowhere near tilted enough over the golf ball. So the first 3 little tips can really be incorporated into this one little exercise where we're rotating our body through a good amount of turn. The legs are changing flex, and I'm creating some good angle through my body. Very, very easy to do this at home with a golf club before you even get to the range, but great little exercise that you can do to really get your body moving much, much better in your backswing. Tip number 4 is all about controlling the club face and applying the right twist to the golf club during our backswing. We need to get that club face under control in the backswing. It gives us a much, much greater chance of delivering a square or a neutral club face at impact. Now, when I take my address to this golf ball, I generally will have some cupping in my lead wrist. We call that extension. What I would love you to do is, by the time your lead arm reaches level with the ground, I would like this wrist to be flat. As you can see, it is there. A flat wrist effectively means I've got that golf club, or that club face more specifically, under control. Many of you will still have a lot of cupping in this wrist, and then when you get to the top, that cupping is still present, and that really means that that club face is twisted too much to the right, and we're going to have to make some compensations during the downswing. So the fourth point here is to take a lead wrist which is slightly extended and flatten it out by the time you reach this halfway back position in your backswing. Point number 5, this one is a tricky one because it's hard to feel and it's hard to see. What we really have to do as we're making our backswing is we have to transfer some pressure to our trail side. Very difficult to see, we can measure it, there are devices out there, but very difficult to see. So a great little exercise that you can do is to take an address, place the golf club about 2 feet in front of the ball, and just start to make some little movements to only around about this point here, so maybe some 4 feet past the ball, and start to feel that during that movement, by the time you reach this point here, you're starting to press down into that right side. You're starting to apply some pressure. The best golfers, when they shift pressure, it happens early. We'd like you to try and recreate that feel if we can. So I can take my starting position here and just get that sensation of getting that pressure moving right, and then I can take that up to a top of the backswing position where I feel like I've loaded some pressure into the trail side. It's really important we get you to do this. It's just incredibly hard to see, incredibly hard to feel, and incredibly hard to measure whether you're actually doing this correctly. But that little exercise should give you some ideas on how to do that a little bit better. So 5 tips there, which are really focusing on the club face, the body, and shifting pressure. If you can do those things, you're going to make a great backswing, and it's going to give you a much, much better chance of making a great downswing and hitting some great shots out on the golf course. I really hope those tips were pretty easy to digest and something you can do next time you go to the practice area or wherever you do your practice. We'd love to hear your feedback down below in the comments box, whether you like this type of video and anything that you think would help anybody with their backswing. Pop it in the comments box down there. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. Usual stuff, like button down there if you did like the video, and give that subscribe button a click if you're not a member of the community. Absolutely free. We'd love to see you back here again soon.